Exercise 9C, creating graphic labels. Remember last time we created just in general different labels, how they looked, placement, so forth. If you want to add standalone text to your map, or if you just want to label a few features interactively, you can use tools on the Draw toolbar. Most of the tools on the Draw toolbar are for creating standalone text, but the Label tool allows you to choose a label that's connected to a feature's attribute. The labels or text boxes created from the Draw toolbar act like graphics. They can be selected and moved whenever you like. In this exercise, you will add text to mark the Gulf of Mexico and Atlantic Ocean. Then create a graphic label for the U.S. Route 1 feature. This technique is meant for cases in which you only have a few features to label, or if you want to label base layers that don't have attributes. So go ahead and open up EX09C. As before, some of your dynamic labels may be in a slightly different location from what you see in a graphic. Map readers would be better oriented if you labeled the Gulf of Mexico and Atlantic Ocean. However, you don't have an ocean layer with attributes which you can attach labels. The ocean background that you do see here is a raster layer which doesn't have text attributes. Remember how some of those you downloaded yesterday didn't have that option? Because there are no distinct Gulf of Mexico or Atlantic Ocean features, nothing to label. Instead, you will add a graphic label using the text tool. Graphic labels are selectable and standalone on the map. They are not connected to any feature. If it's not already available, display the Draw toolbar. On the custom menu, click Toolbars Draw. Which one is it? Customize Toolbars and Draw. Looks like it has a drawing drop down here. That's select usually. Looks like some formatting features also for fonts. On the Draw toolbar, click the Text tool. That's the one with the little a here. Move the mouse pointer over the map. The pointer changes to a crosshair with an A for text. Click on the Gulf of Mexico to add a text box. Doesn't matter where, I guess. In text box, type Gulf of Mexico. Gold. Mexico. And press enter. The text is drawn in a 10-point black Arial, as you can see on the Draw toolbar. The bright blue outline I don't see a bright blue outline. Indicates text is selected. Okay, now I see it. I had to click it, and it's really faint, but there's blue around it. Next, you increase the font size. Right-click the Gulf of Mexico label. On shortcut menu, click Properties. On the Properties dialog box, on Text tab, click Change Symbol. This opens a symbol selector. Next, you will select a style and modify it according to your preferences. In the symbol selector, scroll down until you see a predefined label style for ocean. And click it to select the color and spacing determined by that style. Next, click the font arrow. And we want to choose Book Antiqua if it's installed. Or another font of your preference. Click OK to close the symbol selector. Click OK again to apply the new properties of the text. Mine was a little too far over, so I just scooted it. Oh. Now that it's larger, the text may have to be moved. It anticipates everything. Move the mouse pointer over the text. The pointer becomes a four-headed arrow. Use the pointer to drag the text so it approximately matches the graphic in the book, and that's more or less. Actually, they have it down here. Then release the mouse button. Click an empty blue area to clear the text selection. So we just click over here in the ocean, you'll see it takes off that light blue around it. So go ahead and do the same thing and label the Atlantic Ocean.
I put OCENA.
You caught it.
Does it still want us to change it to that Book Antiqua or whatever?
I believe so. That's what the graphic, the picture in the book looks like anyway. Finally, you will label US Route 1 using the label tool. I guess they'll probably tell us where US Route 1 is. I have no clue where it's at. I know where the Gulf of Mexico is, Atlantic Ocean. Okay, on the Draw toolbar, click the drop down arrow next to Text tool to see the other text tools available. Oh, wait a minute, I'm looking in the wrong place. Next to the A, these are your other options you have. Click the Label tool. It says when you use any text tool, become the default tool shown in the Draw toolbar until you choose a different tool, which is what we just did. On the Label tool options dialog box, click the Place Label at Position clicked. Place label at position, click the second one here. And choose a style. So click choose a style. And click the first symbol for US route. Move your mouse pointer over the US Route 1. That red line. Okay. Move your mouse pointer over the US Route 1 line feature, the red line running down the Atlantic coast. just east of Lake Okeechobee. I'm probably really butchering that bad. When you see the map tip US 1, click to place the label.
Lake Mary G.
I didn't quite get where they wanted it, but I'll move it.
It's a janky acronym. There. Point. It's not the tab. Yeah, you do the drop down for page.
There you go. You have to actually click the red.
Yeah. Yes. Choose the second option for both and AC. US route. And then click on the red highway. You just click on go forward.
Okay. With the label selected, it should be outlined in bright blue. Right-click it and click Properties. Change the symbol size to 6 point.
That was under size and position.
Right-click it and click Properties. Change the symbol size to 6 point in a symbol selector. Okay, so they want us to change it to 6. Then black Arial. Mine's already Arial, but is there a black Arial? Or Arial black?
It's still like too far apart.
Close any open dialog box. So I guess we're going to click OK. And then click OK again. And then we'll go ahead and save it. So do a file save as. Choose my data. Give it some kind of name. And it says leave map, ArcMap open. Now we're over at exercise 9D. It says converting dynamic labels to annotation. Although you have considerable control over dynamically placed labels, you can't specify exact positions or symbolize them individually. To do this, you must convert labels to annotation, which means essentially you tell ArcMap to turn over full responsibility for label placement and appearance to you. Annotations can be selected, moved, and modified piece by piece, like text boxes you created in exercise 9C. Difference is you can quickly create annotation for all features in a layer rather than one at a time. Typically, you convert labels to annotations when your map is nearly finished and you want to make final adjustments to the labels. Annotation can be saved within your map document in the annotation group, same way as dynamic labels or to an annotation feature class within the GeoDatabase. It then becomes much like any other spatial data set. It can be copied, edited, and added to any map document. For more information, contact the help. In this exercise, you will convert the city labels to annotations so you can make adjustments to the label positions. Once converted to annotation, the labels will keep the same size and location relative to the surrounding features. So we want to open up EX09. D. That's weird. Usually you see a result of the previous lesson, don't you? But our highway is not labeled. In the book it's labeled. Oh well.
Maybe it's an error on their part.
I'm guessing. They probably put the wrong file out there for this exercise. It should work for what we're wanting to look at it. In the table of contents, right-click the city's population 100,000 plus layer. And click Convert Labels to Annotation. This opens a Convert Labels to Annotation dialog box. The default option for storing annotations is stored in GeoDatabase. However, since you want to modify only a handful of labels, you will store the annotations as an annotation group in a map document. Which one do you use? Map annotation or GeoDatabase annotation? If you have a large number of labels, it's best to use the GeoDatabase annotation because it's faster and can handle a greater number of annotation features more efficiently. Creating annotation often takes a lot of time, so saving to a GeoDatabase can be desirable, allowing the work to be reused and shared. GeoDatabase annotation can be either standalone or feature linked. Standalone annotation is used for text that is not associated with a map feature. In feature-linked annotation, labels are associated with another feature class, so if a feature is moved or deleted, the annotation is moved or deleted as well. Right. Click the option to store the annotation on the map. So you click this in the map. And then it says click Convert. Labels are converted to annotations. In the process, the positions may have changed slightly. Next, you will move the labels for Hollywood and Pembroke Pines, so it's easier to see which feature goes with which label. You will also move the labels for the other cities just a bit so the text doesn't touch the corresponding point symbols. So zoom to the canals bookmark. Remember to go up bookmarks up here and choose canals. Notice how large the annotation labels are on the map display compared to the dynamic labels for the rivers. So you can see how small the rivers are and lakes. Unlike dynamic labels, annotation labels are static, meaning they act like a feature, just as the lake grows in appearance, as you zoom on a map, so does the annotation. If you want your dynamic labels to act like static annotation when zooming in, go to the full extent of the map and set a reference scale for the data frame. Right-click the data frame in table contents and click Reference Scale, set reference scale. On the Tools toolbar, click the Select Elements tool. Usually select is this, there it is. This little arrow. I guess I need to close my drawing. So choose a black arrow here. Tools bar, click the select element, click the Hollywood label is selected. You should see a little light blue rectangle around. Drag the Hollywood label slightly north. And you see there's two green circles here. It's about where they want it. Click the Pembroke Pines label and drag it to the southwest of the point feature, as shown in the graphic. I wanted, oops.
That's where mine was.
Is that where yours was?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Mine was in the ocean. Says click somewhere else to deselect it, and then click refresh. Which one's refresh?
It's at the bottom left. You just click F5.
Oh, yeah, that is too. I don't see where I did anything.
I didn't. Mine was like exactly how.
Yeah, it like automatically refreshes itself. Seems like. Return to the full extent of the map to see if readability of these labels is improved. So we click our world. Guess it's better.
Exact same.
Looks like same on yours.
Yeah.
Mine, that one isn't in the ocean anymore. Much better. It's clear now which city is which.
I didn't know there was a Hollywood in Florida.
See, mine isn't right. You can't really tell which is which, can you?
Kenya.
Now, that's how they have in the book, but Hollywood is actually. I chose the identify tool. This blue circle with an eye in it. Hollywood is the one to the right. But yeah, that's weird. Does it got Hollywood?
Yeah.
I'm gonna choose bookmark and canals. I'm gonna move Hollywood over.
It'd make more sense to put Hollywood in the ocean.
Yeah, I think it would, but move that there. Take Pembroke Pines. I'll move it up a little bit. I don't know if it's any better. I'd almost think arrows would be better, but okay. Zooming in is necessary. Select each of the city labels, moves them slightly further away from their associated point features. Ensure the text does not run into the point symbols. So you want your black arrow selected, your select tool. And I'll move Coral Springs. Corral. Live in Kansas too long. Move Fort Lauderdale over a little bit, so I'm gonna move Pembroke Pines down a little bit. I have no clue what that one is. Hialeah. And move Miami over a little bit.
Oh God. So you just want us to adjust it to where it's better.
Yeah. Whatever's pleasing to your eye. and then save it. Talks about using ArcGIS online but I wonder if it's any better today. Let's see. If I go to ArcGIS online, it's Kansas. Water data using reporting units provided by the 2012 walk-in hunting areas.
The United States physical landscape map.
Kansas Shale Beaver. If this is going to go slow as can be, then we'll just go on to the next chapter. Won't torture you with trying to do ArcGIS online again.
Are you going to give us a second assignment?
What's that?
Are you going to give us a second assignment?
If it worked, but I'm already sensing something bad when it's this slow right here.
Mine loaded.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got that point. But when I'm loading a map,
And the United States physical landscape.
that's so strange.
Yeah, it's
I assume these are all in one central location because you can upload it. If it's in one central location, how come one comes in fast and the others?
I'm trying to reopen ArcMap.
Yeah, I'm gonna close mine. Let's go on to chapter 10 then. Making maps for presentations. Yeah, let me kill ArcMap.
ArcMap. Don't you guys just love this software? It's fast.
That's the chapter 10, making maps for presentation. Creating a layout, adding titles and additional text, adding standard map elements, adding final touches, and setting print options. Learning objectives, become familiar with page layout tools, create effective map layouts, add text to a layout, create map elements such as north arrow, scale bar, and legend, become familiar with print settings and options. A map is not complete without several critical features and a well-composed page layout. Any map that is destined to be printed or used online or on screen should contain a certain collection of map elements laid out and organized on a page. These elements include data frames containing map layers, a legend, a scale bar, and a north arrow, map title, descriptive text, and additional graphics. Cartographic design should be informed by both aesthetics and the ability to communicate. Cartographic elements needed to accurately convey information about the map without diverting attention from the map. Measure of a good layout is how well it conveys information to its reader. A good layout should not only provide the facts, but also persuade opinion. When creating a layout, you should ask yourself some key questions. What is the purpose and intended use of the map? Who is the target audience? What physical or digital size and page orientation will it have? Will the map stand on its own? Will it be part of a map series with maps that share a template? How will the map elements be organized on the page? Will the layout contain more more than the common map elements such as graphs, reports. What is the intended map scale, and how large will the data frames and layout be? More reading. In this chapter, you'll create the layout shown here of Queensland, Australia, bioregions and biosubregions, which are researched areas of diverse biology and geographic landscape. Okay, data. Exercise in chapter uses the following data sets. We got Australia.shp, bioregions.shp, a few more. Okay, exercise 10A, creating a layout. Amount of space on which elements can be arranged may be anything from a letter size sheet of paper to a wall poster. The orientation may be vertical or horizontal. Choosing a dimension and orientation map before you start makes the layout process easier. It will influence your decision on factors such as data frame size, map scale, text size, and other map elements. Mark Map has rulers, guidelines, and a grid to help you arrange map elements. For this exercise, you are a GIS student researching the biodiversity of Queensland. Okay, open EX10. And then we'll open up the A. The map document contains 3 data frames: bioregions, biosubregions, and overview. Data frames allow multiple maps to be shown in the page layout. Bioregions data frame is currently active. The bioregions are classified and labeled based on their abbreviated names. For instance, Brigalow Belt is labeled BRB and are symbolized using a color map with various shades of orange. In table of contents, expand the bioregions layer to see the bioregion names. Table of contents, bioregions layer, and then corresponding features. Brigalow Belt. What's that? Australia. It's got interesting names, doesn't it? Moga lands. You notice all of them have a little slightly different orange color to them, right?
Yeah.
So, when you officially examine the feature symbol, collapse the layer. All 3 data frames will be part of your page layout. You'll focus attention on the biosubregions map and position the bioregions map next to it. For reference, you will include a map of Australia with an extent indicator showing where the state of Queensland is located. An arc map and extent indicator is simply rectangles placed on a data frame to reference the specific geographic locations of another data frame. On the menu bar, click View, Layout View. In the layout view, you will see how the print map will look. Data frames are stacked on the virtual page according to the order and table contents, although they can be reordered any way you want. Also included is an index of bio subregions that consists of 2 text boxes and a rectangle. It will be easier to see what you're doing if you make the ArcMap GIS application window as large as possible. It's about as large as possible. It says maximize the window. Mine's already maximized. It says notice in layout view, the layout toolbar automatically appears if it wasn't already turned on and is active. It may be floating or already docked to your ArcMap window. If it's docked, you will see the title of the toolbar. To see it, you have to undock the toolbar. Mine's down here at the bottom. Again, they're implying it could be anywhere, I guess. On the layout toolbar, click the zoom whole page button. And that looks like,
Yeah, my layout toolbar. Oh, I see it.
you see it?
Yeah, it's like up on. I
Yeah.
just sure don't have them. We're gonna customize. I know how to do it. But see, it's all good. But I don't have them.
Did you do view, layout view?
Oh. Yeah, see that some of they put it on the actual.
Yeah, it says it could be docked or not. They could be consistent. Yeah, it looks like it right there. See if I move it up here, see how it becomes docked, which is where some of yours are.
How do I not get it?
Let me see. I just dropped mine there. You see the three little dots or four dots over to the far left?
Yeah.
You put your mouse over that, click and hold down, and you can undock it.
Okay. So now can you repeat what you just did?
Yeah. If I have it docked like that, there's four little dots or three little dots here. If you put your mouse over, it becomes four arrows. You click and hold down and then drag, and it'll become undocked. Okay. It says on layout toolbar, click the zoom whole page button, and that's so small I can't see it. Let's see, so I'm just putting a mouse over these. Here's a zoom whole page. I don't know what that looks like. Piece of paper with four black arrows on it. So yours not working?
Oh, there
There you go. Okay. It says on the menu bar, click File, Page, and Print Setup. So File, Page, and Print Setup. On a page and print setup dialog box in the map page size frame, not to be confused with the paper frame, in which the landscape option will not change orientation, set the orientation to landscape. So map page size frame. And I want to change it to landscape. Oh, there. Okay. So choose landscape there. As shown in the graphic, clear the use printer paper settings. Clear.
Mine's already clear.
Yeah, mine's clear too. If it is selected. So click OK.
Use landscape trees.
Orientation and layout has changed. You also need to change the orientation of the printer paper, but we'll do this later in the chapter. Don't worry about the position of the overview map. You'll fix that next. You can see some of it's off the page. To help you place data frames exactly, we'll turn on page guides. Page guides are cyan colored lines originating from arrows in the vertical and horizontal layout rules. These guides help you align and position data frames and map elements that do not appear on a printed page. On the menu bar, click View Guides. Place the mouse pointer over the vertical, or these guidelines are displayed on layout. Place the map pointer over the vertical ruler on the left side of the display. Click to add a guide at the 8 inches, another one at 8.2 inches. So over here at the ruler on this left-hand side is the one we're talking about. It says click to add a guide at 8 inches. So I clicked there and it dropped on a, is that an arrow? And another one at 8.2 inches. Drops on another arrow. But even more important than that, what did it also do? Put a blue guideline on here for us. Okay. Don't worry if you didn't click exactly the right spot on the ruler. To move the guide, drag it to the correct position. So you can put your mouse over it and move it to wherever you want. Now, as you move it, you'll notice that it puts the value at the top. So you can see exactly it's 8 inches now. If I click this other one, mine was 8.2. So you can move it to wherever you want. The guides will be more useful if map elements snap automatically to them. What that means is you move things close to them, it's like a magnet. It snaps to it. Right-click on the empty part of the page. On the shortcut menu, click Guides, Snap to Guides. So Guides, Snap to Guides. If you don't see that, make sure you choose the right area, click in the white area, not on one of the items on there. Next, you will resize and arrange data frames on a page, beginning with the bio subregions, the largest data frame. In the display area, click the bioregions data frame to select it. Well, bio data, that's one with all the extreme colors. Move the mouse pointer over the data frame. When a pointer becomes a four-headed arrow, use the pointer to drag the frame so its upper left-hand corner snaps to the guides at 8 and 0.3. So drag this up here. As I get closer to it, it snaps to that. So that's where we want this one. Next, you will make the bio subregions data frame bigger by dragging a selection handle. When you resize the data frame, ArcMap will automatically adjust the map extent and the display scale. It says place the mouse pointer over the selection handle in the lower right-hand corner and drag it down until it snaps the guides at 0.3 and 6.4. So this bottom right-hand square right here, I grab it and move it down. It's a good question. It says 6.4 and 0.3. I think I'm there. 6.4, yeah.
Oh, okay.
0.3.
It takes up a lot of space.
Right. On the standard toolbar in a map scale box, replace existing scale with 1 in 13 million. Data frames updated with an appropriate map scale show the entire bio subregions layer. I could see it before, but oh. Next, you'll move the bioregions data frame. And that looks like this orangish map here, or orangish element, I should say. On the virtual page, click the bioregions data frame to select it. Drag the frame so its upper left corner snaps to the guides at 8.2 and 4.4. So I click this up here, 4.4, 8.2. I did it wrong. Should be the one on the right or the left of that. Okay. Yeah, so right here is 8.2, one we did there, and I think the first one is a 4.4. Next one looks like 4.5. The what?
Whenever you move it to that spot, maybe they'll actually stop.
On a standard toolbar and a map scale, replace existing scale with 1 in 25 million. Okay, I did see it change that time. I was paying attention. Next, you'll position the bio subregions index, which is all the words. In the display area, click the index so you can select it. Drag the index to its lower right-hand corner. Snaps the 2.2 vertically, 10.7.
Jeez, I messed up too. So, no, like, I just don't have a freaking toolbar for it.
What don't you have?
Like, the freaking, well, I have like one thing up here. I bought this stuff, but I don't have anything else.
It'll either be under Windows or View. Probably Windows, but yes. Sometimes you can right click up there and select it.
That sounds fine. My map is not the same.
When you may have to exit out and get back in, but the easiest way would probably be is to right click it, and you want Tools, Standard, Layout shows. So you just right click up here in the gray area with Layout, Standard, and Tools.
Layout is right there. Yes, I had that. Yep. And now you want standard. It's in the customize bar. Not that. The customize bar on the top. Toolbars. You want standard. It's there. Standard. And then what was it?
Tools.
No, that's not. That's our toolbox. You want to go back to customize toolbars and tools. That'll be covered up by something.
Yep, you're fine. You just have to rearrange them however you want. Okay, so we want to move this wording over to 2.2 vertically. Here and right there. So the bottom right hand corner should be at 2.2 and then 10.7 on top.
I don't know why my other map is just, it's not the same. Mine's on the one.
Yeah, mine's all the way to the left.
That's what mine's like.
I can't even click it.
You have the selection. You have the select.
Yeah.
See, it's over here. And I have the 25 meters.
Does it always look like that?
No. Whenever I change the scale, it zoomed in like the wrong place. I followed the same steps. It's 4.4 and 8.2.
I'll look at it here in a second. What's yours? Same thing?
Yeah.
And then you change it to 25 minutes. 1.
Almost. How did you do this?
I don't think that's right.
Okay, now if your map here doesn't look like mine,
Yeah.
if you choose the pan tool, the little hand,
Yes.
then you can click it and pan around that. Move it.
Oh, okay.
So more or less get it to look like that.
I got it.
Okay. Now I have doubts that you actually clicked the little white hand here. So I don't know why it changed, to be honest. But that's how you fix it. Okay, I put this in the wrong place. 2.2, so they want it up. 2.2, so it should be roughly there. Next, you reposition, rescale, and change the layer order of the overview data frame. In the display area, click the overview data frame to select it. I assume that's this one right here. It is. You can see it highlighted over here after you select it. Or you can select these and make active or something like that, or activate. Anyway, I got this one selected, overview. Select it and then right click. So we're going to right click on that gray area, and it says to do order, bring to front. It's kind of like layers. You lay a piece of paper on each other. You know, your top layer is one you see. So that's the idea. Open a properties of the overview data frame. Choose size and position. In the size frame, enter 2 in the width. Guess I must assume inches. And 1.8 in the height.
What in the world?
And then click OK.
Is there an undo button up here?
Yeah, Control Z.
Properties. Okay, and then what was the height?
Height is 1.8. Then it says, don't worry about the appearance or map scale overview map. You'll fix this in a moment. Doesn't say anything about the warning box just appeared.
Yeah, I know, that's what I got.
Do you wish to use this coordinate system anyway? I'll say yes.
Oh, yeah.
Drag the overview data frame so its lower right hand corner snaps to the guides at 2.2 and 7.8. So 2.2, 7.8 to be about right there. On the standard toolbar, change the scale to 1 and 120 million. Looks better. Data frames now have the final size and positions. Next, you'll finish the overview data frame by creating an extent indicator. Again, open the properties of the overview data frame. On the Extent Indicators tab, so you click the Extent Indicators. Click Bio Subregions in the other data frames, and click the right-facing arrow to move the item to Show Extent Indicator for these data frames, and then click OK. And click Yes again. Then you got that little.
Whoa, dude. Shouldn't do that.
An extent indicator framed in red is showing the spatial extent of the biosub regions data frame inside the overview data frame. If your map looks slightly different, use the pan tool on the tools bar to fix the position of the maps. So you can move those around where you want. Then we'll go ahead and save that. So do save as my data. You'll write the existing one, doesn't matter. I'll put the new files out brand new each time I teach class. It's talking about just generally map templates. And it says one of the easiest way to keep your map consistent is use a map template. Any map document .mxd can be made into a map template. Templates are layouts that contain layers, data frames, page layouts, and other common map elements. Using a template to create a map series can save time because you don't have to recreate each element of the map. Like other parts of ArcMap, templates can be used to increase productivity. When we open up ArcMap, create a new document, then you can choose different templates there. Talks about how to create a map template.
That was quite the first part of the chapter.
And they're ready for 10B, but I think we'll stop there.
Yes. Yes. Start thing on YouTube.
Blind match.